Hey, what's up, guys? I've been trying to live stream more, so I figured I'd do a live stream tonight. I had nothing to do, nothing better to do than to talk to you guys about MMA. We have some stuff, some news that has come out in the last 2 days or so, and I haven't made any videos about it just because I hadn't had the time or it wasn't, crazy important. We can talk about UFC 265, which is next Saturday. We can talk about Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena being canceled on the card. Bellator 263 is this Saturday. I know some people wanted to get my opinion on that. Let me move this microphone out of the way so I can see the chat. What else we got? We got Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland this Saturday at UFC Vegas 33. And I think that's most of what's been going on these last 2 days. But also answer all your questions. If you guys have any questions, just put it in the chat. If you're here live now, make sure you like the stream. If you're watching this in the future, do me a favor, make sure you like the stream as well. I greatly appreciate it. So Kevin Weeks already asked some questions. Thoughts on the Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena fight being canceled, which is one of the things I was going to talk about in this chat anyway. It sucks because we're losing a fight, a championship fight. And out of Amanda Nunes' last few fights, this was the one I was most interested in. Not that I'm super intrigued by this fight, but I was more intrigued than I was for Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. So it kind of sucks, and also, it's whenever we lose a fight, regardless of how great I think the fight is or my interest level in, we're paying the same amount of money for now one less fight. And I like to see Amanda Nunes compete. Well, is this the most competitive fight I've ever seen her in? Not really. But still, it was the women's bantamweight championship on the line. Julianna Pena is a half decent threat. I think she's more of a threat than Megan Anderson was. And you know what I mean? I just feel like now the card just loses a fight and it just gets a little bit worse, even though it's not that bad. If there was one fight on the main card to fall out, or let's not say the main card, but let's say the top four fights, I guess that would probably have to be the least hurtful one because there's so many great fights on the card. You got Ciryl Gane versus Derrick Lewis for the interim heavyweight championship. You have Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz, which is an amazing fight. You have Michael Chiesa versus Vicente Luque, which is a very, very important fight for the division as well. And for at all those ones I just mentioned, I guess it's not so bad to lose Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena. They'll reschedule it. Who knows when it'll happen? But it's not one of those, like I remember years ago when we lost John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson 2. It was supposed to be in like September-ish. And then it got replaced with John Jones versus DC 1. And then John Jones got injured. And losing those fights hurt. I mean, it stung. The Khabib Tony Ferguson April Fool's Day fight, we lost it. It hurt bad. It stung. But Amanda Nunes, Julianna Pena, it doesn't sting me as bad, and I'm sure you guys will probably agree with me. It's not a fight that, I was so anticipating, it was just like it was there. I was going to watch it. I was going to enjoy it. If Amanda Nunes got just, upset somehow, that would have been crazy. But most likely she was going to put a beating on Julianna Pena. But I'm actually going to be working on my prediction videos for UFC 265 very, very soon, either tonight or maybe tomorrow a little bit, because I like to try to get them done as soon as possible so you guys can watch them. So I'm so glad I didn't do a prediction video on that yet, because I've been mad because now the fight would have been canceled. So there's my thoughts on Amanda Nunes fight being canceled. We'll get it. We'll still get it. I mean, it's not like the division is super stacked, so it's something we'll get. Kevin Weeks also asked, what are you looking forward to UFC 265? I kind of just went over that. I didn't even read. I just read your first question and went over it. But I really love that Pedro Munoz versus Jose Aldo fight. I love that fight. I mean, I love Aldo at bantamweight. A lot of people didn't think he could do it. It's going to be a great fight. So I'm most looking forward to that. Have you been watching the Olympics? No, I have not. I've never really paid attention to the Olympics. Is the UFC 265 card weak? In my opinion, it does the job. I kind of agree with you. It does the job. I wouldn't say it's a strong pay-per-view. I think I did a rating video because I've been trying to. I'm kind of doing these videos where I talk about the fight cards in advance, and I kind of give them a little bit of a rating of my interest level in them. And I think I gave it like a B. I would give it like a B minus, maybe a C plus at this point in time. I think it's still a decent card. I'm not going to be upset paying the pay-per-view price, but it does leave a little bit to be desired. I wish we had a little bit better main event. I like the main event, don't get me wrong. This will be a badass fight night card. But as a pay-per-view, I'm a little on. It's not the greatest card I've ever seen. But it's not terrible. But also I think we've been very, very spoiled lately. UFC 261 was sick. 264 was very good as well. And the last few pay-per-views have been pretty good. So I think, it's recency bias as well. But who knows? We'll see. I'm not, to answer your question a little bit more broader, I'm not jumping out of my seat for it, but I'm looking forward to it. But it's nothing that's got me so excited for. What's up, Torin Brown? I hope you're doing well. What's up, Jambi? I'm debating on whether I want to watch UFC or Bellator tomorrow because I'm going to be a real Sean Strickland. Uriah ain't interesting to Pitbull McKee. Very interesting. I would definitely watch Bellator. If you can only watch one, I'm probably going to be streaming and I'll have both of them up. But I'm really interested in that Pitbull versus AJ McKee fight. I think that's a very fun fight. I was going to do a prediction video on it, but I guess I'm probably not going to get around to it now. It's already Friday, so it's kind of, a little late to be doing a prediction video. But I'm going to go with Pitbull in that fight. I think AJ McKee is a very interesting prospect. I think he's undefeated. I think he's got a little bit of a reach advantage. But he's inexperienced when you compare him to, Pitbull. He's been around just forever. And he's been fighting top-notch guys. I think he has a win over Michael Chandler. He's super technical. He has knockout power. He's one of the best 145-pounders, in MMA. He could compete in the top 10 of the UFC featherweight division, maybe even the top 5. I think it's a great fight. I think AJ McKee is just too wild. I think it's probably just because he's young, he's a prospect. He's just never been defeated. As far as I think I'm right on that. I don't think he's ever been defeated. He just gets very, very wild, and he gets a lot of his wins, at least the last couple, it seems like, come from in transition, grabbing like slick submissions. And I just don't think he's going to be able to do that to Patricio Pitbull. I just don't think it. So I think Pitbull retains the title. I'm going to go. I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns. I think even if it goes to the ground, I think Pitbull's good enough with as far as his jiu-jitsu. I think he's going to be able to stifle the submission attempts of AJ McKee. And I think eventually on the feet, AJ McKee gets too sloppy and Pitbull finishes him. I'll say Pitbull's second round TKO for that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's the best fight Bellator's ever put on. I would highly recommend to all my subscribers, go watch go watch Bellator 263 tomorrow if you have access to it. And I think it's a very interesting fight, and I think it's one of the best fights Bellator's ever put on. So let's see what else we got on here. Keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. I appreciate it. But I would, if you only can watch one, watch Bellator 263. Jessica Pena sucks. I would rather see Irene versus Nunes than Pena. Fight would be boring. Pena not even in the top 10. Yeah, I'm not really super interested in either one of those fights, to be honest. I mean, it's okay. It's got like this much interest just seeing Nunes compete. But it's hard. It's hard. I mean, Nunes is just so good. I want to see Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko 3. That's what I want to see. And that's the fight I really want to see. So, I'm going to UFC 266 in September. First UFC fight. Awesome, Cody. That's really awesome. I'm happy for you, my friend. Las Vegas, main event. Volkanovsky versus Brian Ortega. I hope, I'm cross my fingers for you. I hope nobody falls out of any of the fights. There's no, last-second pullouts, and I hope you really enjoy yourself. It's very fun going to a live UFC event. I've been to 2 pay-per-views and 1 fight night before, and it's a very fun experience. So good luck. I hope you enjoy yourself. You'll have to let us know how it goes after you come back from there. So very, very happy for you and excited for you. Nico Montana missed weight by 7 pounds and the fight is off. She hasn't fought in 2 years. What do you think, Cutter? Worst UFC champion ever. She was technically the champion for a little while. She has nothing but problems. She won the Ultimate Fighter and was the champion for a little bit. She didn't fight Valentina, so she was stripped. I'm just so sick. There's always problems with Nico Montana. Always problems. There's always something going on with her. Just cut her at this point. What's going on, Alex? Hope you're doing well. Derrick Lewis versus Gane is going to be a boring fight. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it's going to be a boring fight. And especially with Derrick Lewis fights, even though, they may be boring as far as rewatchability, sometimes they're fun in real time just because of the threat of the KO. So I think it's going to be a decent fight, and I also think Gane may finish him. Maybe. I'm not sure. And I want to see Gane really take that leap and get that killer instinct we've all been talking about. But keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. UFC 265 getting worse. I'm not sure how much Nunez being out should bother me because she probably was going to have a one-sided victory. Anyway, agreed. Again, but it sucks. When we lose one fight, especially, Amanda Nunes, I like to see her compete regardless of who she's competing against. It just sucks. But the card, I think, is a badass fight card. I think it's just missing that amazing main event. If we had a really amazing main event, and don't get me wrong, I like Derrick Lewis versus Ciryl Gane. But it's just not that main event that really gets me up. If this was Derrick Lewis versus Francis Ngannou, maybe. But the card is a quality card. I mean, you have Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz, who I constantly want to call Mark Munoz. You have Vicente Luque versus Michael Chiesa, a very important fight in the welterweight division. I like the card, but I just wish we had a little bit better main event. And also, I think the fact that we lost, one championship fight kind of hurts a little bit. UFC 262 was nasty. And it delivered, too. That was a crazy fight card. Did you watch the press conference between Pitbull and McKee? It got extremely heated. I saw a little bit of it. I saw clips online. But I did not see all of it. But I seen they were talking about, I'm going to beat you up in front of your family. I'm going to beat you up in front of your wife and kids. And then I also seen an interview with Patricio Pitbull after the fact. And they were like, if AJ McKee's watching this, what would you like to say to him right now? And he was like, fuck you, motherfucker. And I was dying. It was hilarious. So I'm looking forward to that fight regardless of the heat. I would like to see AJ McKee in the UFC. I'd also like to see Pitbull in the UFC. Torin Brown said, I'm picking McKee. Okay, we'll see. I don't know why when I watch Bellator I feel like I'm cheating. I think it's the low production value. I don't think they do a great job of their production value. Like, the commentary seems off. The lighting seems off. It just seems like a D-list UFC card. I think the UFC that doesn't get enough credit for it because we're just so used to it, their lighting is always spectacular, except that one event when Kung Lee fought Michael Bisping. I don't know if anybody else in this chat remembers this, but when Kung Lee fought Michael Bisping, I think they were in China, it was the worst lighting I've ever seen in my life. But other than that, they always have great lighting. The commentary is always pretty good. I'm not going to say it's always great. But just the production value overall feels top notch. Where Bellator kind of feels like they're still learning a lot. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, I already read Nick Diaz though. Nick Diaz is on UFC. Is he on 2? I can't remember now. I think he's on 266, right? He's not fighting in, because originally it was talked about him fighting in Abu Dhabi. But no, I think you're gonna get to see Nick Diaz. Yep, Nick Diaz. You're gonna get to see Nick Diaz live, my friend. That's gonna be awesome. Heard UFC is going back to NYC for November. Supposedly, it's not official yet. Who knows what's gonna happen between now and then? But supposedly they're aiming for their return to MSG. Thoughts on Dan Hooker trying to get on the already stacked UFC 266? Him and Sarukian are going at it at Twitter. I hope they add it. The more fights, the better for us. Okay, hold on. Have you ever thought of doing a live call-in show? Yeah, but I don't. Eventually, I'll probably do something like that, or at least like a voicemail box where I can play some other people's opinions. But right now, I just don't even know how to do that. I'm just starting to learn how to stream, honestly, and getting through without any problems. It seems like. I ordered the last couple of pay-per-views, but I'm not ordering UFC 265. Not worth my money because the card doesn't tickle my pickle. I'd probably go to Buffalo Wild Wings or Dave & Buster's to watch 265. Yeah, I get it. The main event could be a little bit better, but I still like the card. Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz. I'm so excited for. What's going on, James Lynch? Thanks for joining the chat. I appreciate it. I think I saw on your live chat you're going on vacation, so enjoy your vacation, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. I can't wait for Bellator 263. I appreciate you, my friend. Everybody go subscribe to James Lynch, by the way. He's awesome. He's one of my favorite MMA commentators on YouTube. He does a lot of interviews and stuff like that. So if you guys aren't subscribed to him, go subscribe to him. He does a great job. And high production value as well. Also, did you hear about the big Brock rumors? One fighting? I hope not. I mean, I wouldn't be interested. I have no interest in never seeing Brock Lesnar fight again. He's just a guy that, because of his WWE career, he has this, I guess popularity. And for me, it's never been like that. Like, it was kind of fun as an experiment, when it first happened. And that was right when I started to become a fan, when Brock kind of came into the UFC. But to be honest, it's like, what has he got now? He's so old. He hasn't won a fight, and since when? Since Shane Carwin, probably. I don't even remember. So I have no interest in ever seeing him fight again. What does the UFC do with Nunez moving forward? I honestly don't get excited for her fights anymore. Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko. That is the fight to make, without a doubt. I need to see that. I'm dying to see that. The UFC needs to make that fight. It's a fight. The first two fights were so close, and I don't get it. I get the UFC needs titles to have main events and stuff like that, but like Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko aren't headlining any pay-per-views anyway, so why not just let them fight each other? That could be a headliner for a pay-per-view. I would gladly put out the whatever $75 it would be for a pay-per-view, with the main event being Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes 3. It would be awesome. It would be an awesome, awesome fight. It seems like Houston and NYC, Las Vegas are UFC's favorite cities to host pay-per-views, and they barely go to cities like Miami, Baltimore, Memphis, or Denver, etc. Yeah, they definitely love going to Las Vegas. New York City is their main ones. I'm trying to think where else they go. It just seems now they're mixing in Florida, but because of the whole pandemic thing going on. But their main place is Las Vegas. And I knew they came to Baltimore once before. And I knew once NYC opened up, they're probably never coming back. They occasionally go to New Jersey. But I just think they need to go they go places that they know they're going to sell out. In Las Vegas, they can consistently go there and sell out. Versus some of these other states, you can only go there once in a while. Otherwise, people are going to lose interest in it, I think. But what does Nunes do moving forward? Oh, I already answered that question. Brock is just a cash grab. By the way, guys, I obviously didn't have a YouTube channel back then. But speaking of Stipe Miocic wanting another title shot and wanting an immediate rematch with Francis Ngannou, I wanted to go back to when DC knocked Stipe Miocic out in their first fight. And they wanted to set up that DC versus Brock Lesnar fight. I thought that was an absolute disgusting travesty. I thought the post-fight antics were disgusting. I think Stipe Miocic not getting a post-fight interview was disgusting. And I thought the potential of Brock Lesnar getting a shot over Stipe Miocic against DC getting an immediate, or Stipe getting an immediate rematch instead of or Brock getting a title shot instead of Stipe Miocic getting an immediate rematch. I thought that was absolutely repulsive. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad Stipe got his rematch. But it's just a cash grab. It's just the name. I mean, the guy's been, and everybody knows he was abusing. That's why he hasn't come back. USADA. And when he did come back through USADA, they gave him an exemption, a waiver. And sure enough, he tested positive anyway. So what's going on, Ginge? Hope you're doing well. Miami's more of a boxing city. I didn't know that. Houston is one of their favorite cities. Yeah, but they don't go there crazy often. I know they're going there for 265, but they don't go there crazy often. Vegas is the fight capital, of course. I'm wrong. They did BJ Penn versus Diego Sanchez in Memphis back in 2009. I had no idea that. Dana doesn't respect Stipe. Nope. And I think the reason for him not getting an immediate shot back against Ngannou, I think it also has to do with his inactivity. So they don't want, Stipe's been fighting once a year for the last 3 years. And whether that was his fault or not, I think the UFC is looking at Francis Ngannou and they're thinking, okay, we can have a more active champion. If Stipe isn't getting a title shot, what do you think his next matchup is? Ooh, that's a good question, my friend. That's a very good question. Off the top of my head, first thing that comes to my mind, I'd like to see him fight Jon Jones. But I doubt that's going to happen either. But we could do Stipe versus Curtis Blades. I'd like to see Stipe versus Curtis Blades. I think Curtis Blades is fighting Jairzinho Rozenstruik, so maybe Stipe versus the winner of those two guys fighting. I think that'd be a great fight. UFC 262 was in Houston. Charles Oliveira versus Chandler. Yeah, I know, but that's more because of the restrictions on the states. Texas is kind of being more open and stuff like that, so they're going there more often because Dana doesn't want to go anywhere they can't sell out. So, but it's not like they're always going to Houston. Hold on one second. Hello? Oh, hey, what's going on? Okay, thank you. Bye. Well, that's the first time I ever had to answer a call. I gotta wait out front. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that, guys. Well, that's the problem with heavyweight champs. The heavyweight division, if you look at the history of it, it's like one defense every year. Yeah, I remember Cain Velasquez was never fighting. Cain Velasquez was out for so long, and he was just fighting like once a year, and it was infuriating. Great to see James Lynch with the encouragement. Man, I think they know Ngannou would beat Stipe badly. They don't want that to happen. And me personally, I think Ngannou would kill Stipe. Needs as a warm-up fight before the Ngannou if he wins. Yeah, I don't know if he'd kill him, though. Stipe beat him the first time. I picked Ngannou in the second fight. But also, Stipe's not getting any younger. If he waits, you got to wait for Ciryl Gane versus Derrick Lewis. Then you have to wait for the winner of that to fight Ngannou. And then you have to wait for the winner of that to fight Stipe. So Stipe could not, if he waits around for a title shot, he could be waiting around till next year. Late next year, mid next year. So I don't know if they're worried about him losing. He's already up in age. He probably doesn't have much longer. He's been talking about retirement in the sport forever. So I think it's the time is now. I wouldn't mind if Ngannou wanted to fight in September. Give us Stipe versus Ngannou in September, and the winner of that fight fights the interim champ, the fake interim champ. So the last time UFC did a pay-per-view in Baltimore was 2014. I think it was 2014. It was Jon Jones versus Glover Teixeira. That was a stacked card too, by the way. That's the thing, Stipe, unless some crazy circumstances, his championship days are behind him. Yeah, imagine him sitting out. He fought in March of this year. Imagine him sitting out till it had to be at least summer of next year if he wants a title shot. And then, even if Ngannou fights the winner of Ciryl Gane versus Derrick Lewis, the winner of that, let's say the UFC gets Jon Jones negotiating, going right, and Jon Jones steps in for the next shot. You could have Stipe waiting till potentially end of 2022 at the soonest. So he's going to be out for two years since his last fight almost. Ugh. What do you think Figgy should do after his loss? Maybe a weight change? I don't know. I don't like his prospective chances at 135, but probably. Maybe the weight cut's really having that big of a toll on him. But the bantamweight division is so nasty. I just don't know how he fares. If he can't stuff the takedowns of, Brandon Moreno, you think he's stuffing the takedowns of Petr Yan or Aljamain Sterling? So I think Figgy's in a bad spot. I think he's in a really bad spot because moving up to 135 is not going to be good for him, I don't think. The division is stacked. But there's some fun fights out there. He could maybe, if he can make the weight, I say he stays at flyweight. But if he can't, obviously he has no option. He has to go up. But he's one win away at getting another title shot at flyweight. So he's not in a terrible spot if he wins one fight. If he wins one fight, then he's right back in. He's right back in for a title shot. So why not? Okay, let's see. He needs to fight someone before Ngannou, and maybe he fights loser of Gane Lewis or the Jones fight potentially. I would love the Jones fight. I would love the Jones fight. Peter Yan has nasty judo. Agreed. I mean, look at what he did to Aljamain Sterling. Look what he did to Aljamain Sterling. Sorry, guys. I had to do something. Keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. I'm done with that now. But who would you guys favor? Leave in the chat. Who would you guys favor? Stipe versus John Jones. Who would you pick to win that fight? Because I think that's a very close fight. I think either guy could take it. I would probably favor John Jones, but both guys would be out for so long at that point in time. So it's really hard to gauge. Both guys. It's hard, but I would favor Jones. But let's see. I want to see what you guys think. You got Jones, Stipe Jones. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Ginger's got John Jones as well. But I love that matchup. I mean, I want to see John Jones versus anyone at heavyweight. I mean, the John Jones talk of heavyweight has been going on for so long. I'm dying to see it. It's just a fun fight. I think Stipe and Jones is closer than Francis and Jones. Rutherford, who do you favor in Francis versus Jones? I'm assuming Francis, but I'm curious. It's hard. Jones is going to be out for so long by the time he fights. It's hard, but it's hard to pick against John Jones. I'm telling you. There's a chance. I'm not saying for sure. There's a chance I go with Jones against Ngannou and Jones against Stipe. I'm not saying that for sure, but it's close. I think Stipe. Okay. You keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. I might go witness a crime in Abu Dhabi, Yan versus Sterling too. Very true. Jones is just too athletic. He's good all around. Yup. Hey, Joey, I changed my name. It's Chimney. What's going on, man? Appreciate you joining the chat. Who is most likely to be a threat to take the belt away from each champion in all their weight classes? Thank you, Pitties, for joining. I appreciate the super chats from the other day. You're the man. And I will get to your question. Let me go to it. Who's most likely? I feel like I just answered this recently, but I'm going to go over it again. So, let me read your question because sometimes I misread. Let's see. Who's the most likely to be a threat to take the belt away from each champion in all the weight classes? Okay, so see, I did read that wrong. So, I'm glad I went back and read it. So, Brandon Moreno, I think the best threat is Askar Askarov, Aljamain Sterling, Petr Yan. But if you want to go off Petr Yan as champion, hypothetically, I'll give you an answer to that too. I think Cory Sandhagen is the biggest threat to Petr Yan. But I don't think that Cory Sandhagen would beat him. So, also, you could go with maybe TJ Dillashaw. For Volkanovsky, I think the biggest threat is Max Holloway. For Charles Oliveira, I think the biggest threat is probably Justin Gaethje, in my opinion. For Kamaru Usman, I think the biggest threat is Gilbert Burns. For Adesanya, I think the biggest threat is somebody not in the rankings, Luke Rockhold. For Jan Blachowicz, I'll say the biggest threat is Alexander Rakic. I think Alexander Rakic is probably the future light heavyweight champion. And for Francis Ngannou, I think the best threat is either John Jones or Ciryl Gane. So, there you go. Amanda Nunes, there's no threat. And Valentina, there's no threat. Rose Namajunas, Carla Esparza. So, there you go. Let me get to these questions. Adam, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, my friend. I appreciate you. Like, bantamweight just seems too hard for him. Anyone in the top 5 would beat him. Agreed. I don't think Figueiredo is going to do very well at bantamweight, if that's what you're referring to. I think Jones over Francis. I favor Jones, but it's hard when Ngannou has the nuclear power. You know a fight that I always dreamed about seeing before Francis was champion and before this other guy was out of the UFC? I wanted to see Francis Ngannou versus Rumble Johnson. That would have been a fun fight. Adam, what's going on, man? What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Jones, but if anyone can beat him, it's Francis. Agreed. Mendes. Did you say something about Chad Mendes? I missed him. I missed this. Sorry if I did. I can't find. I'm sorry, I can't find. Alex, if you ask something about Mendes or Mendas, I don't know if that's a misspelling. Just put it back in the chat. I'm sorry, I missed it, and it's hard for me to try to. I'm trying to keep up. If you had to send one UFC fighter to boxing, who would you send? I have no idea, my friend. I'm no expert on boxing at all. Who would I send to boxing? Who has the best striking? So basically, you're asking who has the best striking. It's hard because I would say Izzy has the best striking, but I don't know if that translates to boxing very well. Rumor has it they're working on bringing an NBA team to Baltimore. I've heard that for years. What's going on, Sky Rusty Pit Gaming? Appreciate you joining. What are the chances Jones never fights again? I think slim. I think he fights again. Okay, I already read that. Charles would beat Justin fairly easy if he gets it to the ground. I think Justin Gaichi would be a huge threat on the feet. Charles would beat okay, I already read that. Robert Whitaker. Okay. I see what you're saying. He's the biggest threat to Adesanya. Very true. That is a good threat as well. His cardio is great, but he gassed with a quick notice fight against Conor. I think Chad Mendes would beat the brakes off Conor McGregor in his prime if Chad Mendes had a full camp. John Jones. Tatiana Suarez will give Valentina problems. If she ever fights, she never fights. Jones will beat Francis. I lean Jones's, but I'm not as confident as you sound. What fight will Chad Mendes fight at? I'm assuming what weight you mean. I'm assuming he's fighting at 145. So I think 145 is the fight for him. I don't know who he's going to fight, though. Robert Whitaker can't beat Adesanya unless he wrestles him very, very well, and definitely can't beat him in the striking. I think he can strike with him, but a very big key to that is making the wrestling effective. If he's effectively taking Adesanya down, I think he can outstrike him just because you have that effect where Adesanya is so worried about the takedown. You know, I reference it all the time, but Khabib-Conor. Khabib was winning a lot of the striking exchanges because Conor was so focused on the takedown. So if Whitaker can come out, use effective grappling and takedowns and wrestling and offensive, and clinch work and all that stuff, I think the striking can work. I picked Robert Whitaker in the Adesanya fight, but I don't know if I would be picking him in the rematch. I fell asleep watching Rockets vs. Santos and got woken up by Nunes committing murder. 259 was weird. Yeah, that Rockets vs. Santos fight was a huge letdown. Wait, my bad. I think 145. Masvidal would be a good boxer. I'm not sure. I think Masvidal was criminally underrated for a long time. If you were to send people to boxing, I would send McGregor, Masvidal off the top of my head. Yeah, but McGregor doesn't have cardio, and you need cardio for boxing. Max Holloway to the boxing is my pick. That's a great idea. You people just sleeps on Charles Oliveira striking. I don't sleep on Charles Oliveira. I've been a massive believer in Charles Oliveira long before, he was champion and everything like that. So I'm not sleeping on it at all. I'm not sleeping on Justin Gaethje striking either, and his power as well. You're welcome, Adam. Wait, Mendes made it official. He is coming back. I'm excited. I missed that. So Chad Mendes is returning. Okay. Now we got to think about who he's going to fight. Let's see who's available. We could see him versus Calvin Kattar. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I don't think Kattar has a fight. Whitaker has to fight like Gane to beat him. Agreed. Hey, Joey, how you doing, brother? I'm doing good, Troopster fool. Call me crazy. I think Charles Oliveira can KO McGregor on the feet. I agree with you. Joey has valid points. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you. I would even have Faber over Conor. If Faber did what he did to become WEC champ, wrestling and submissions, he's just too cocky in his hands. I'm assuming you're talking about Faber in his prime. I would not take Faber now. News, in case hasn't been discussed yet, apparently Leon Edwards is down to fight against Masvidal in November, December. Leon Edwards has been down to fight Masvidal whenever and wherever. It's a matter if Masvidal is willing to take that fight. But I'd love to see that fight. And thank you for filling me in. Rockage versus Jiří Procházka. Who do you got? That's a tough fight, and I'd love to see that fight. I hope we see it one day for a title. I probably favor Rockage. I just think he's too technical. He's too well-rounded. But Jiří is an absolute madman. I'd love to have Jiří as a champion. Who is your pick, Joey, for the 205 belt in the future? Well, I just answered it. Alexander Rockage. Chad Mendes versus Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway beats him pretty badly, but it's hard to say. Chad Mendes was a beast at one point in time. No, I'm asking if he made it official. I'm missing something. Oh, I don't know if Mendes made it official. I like Max to get the belt back. I think it's possible. I think it's very possible. If Ortega wins, Max is definitely getting the belt back. Yeah, give Mendes someone between 5 and 10. Chad Mendes is old. I'd favor the Chad Mendes to beat Yair Rodriguez. Who do you think is the better kickboxer, Giga or Edson? Probably Edson, but it's hard. They both look very good. But I'm favoring Barboza in that fight. I think Barboza wins. I just think he's so good. Do you feel Brandon Moreno keeps the belt for a very long time? I think it's very possible, but Askar Askarov is going to be a very tough threat. They fought before, fought to a draw. I think a lot of people had Moreno winning that fight, but he's gotten better, and I think that's his biggest threat. And I think Alex Perez is a lot better than people give him credit for. So I think it's a tough division and a very growing division, but I think there's a chance we see Brandon Moreno for a while. They can book George Masvidal versus Leon Edwards for the rumored NYC card in November. I'd love that, and also 5 rounds. But if it was up to me, give me Edwards versus Gilbert Burns. That's who's next in line for a title shot. And give me Masvidal versus whoever. Isn't Askar fighting soon? I think his fight got canceled, to be honest. I think he was supposed to fight Alex Perez. Askarov. Let's see. I think he had a fight. If someone can chime in on the chat and let us know, but I'm looking. However, Askarov pulled out of the fight. Yeah, Askar pulled out of the fight. He was supposed to fight the end of July, so I think he was supposed to fight this Saturday. How do you see Volkanovsky versus Ortega going? That's a tough fight to pick because Ortega's striking has looked great. He really has improved substantially since Max Holloway. But if I had a guess right now, I'll give you my early prediction. I think Volkanovsky keeps it standing. He chops the leg, and I think he outstrikes him to a decision probably. But I think that's a tough fight to pick. Mendes has nice hands and a ground game. I feel he's the best chance to give Max a serious fight. Yeah, also the takedown threat. Yep. So, but Mendes is older. There was speculation he was cheating, so who knows? Brandon Moreno is going to have that belt for a while because flyweight is such a weak old division. Look how long Mighty Mouse ruled it. Yeah, but I think it's gotten better. I think it's gotten better and better. And then you got Cody Garbrandt going down there. If Cody Garbrandt can get a win, I think he can fight for a title. He at least has to get 1 or 2 wins, in my opinion. You're picking Brian Ortega. I don't think that's a bad pick. I'm not super confident in either one. As far as Ortega versus Volkanovsky, I'll just lean Volkanovsky right now. Who do you got between Aldo and Munoz? That's a tough one. I think Aldo with a better gas tank is the best fighter in the UFC right now. Bold statement right there. I think Jose Aldo is and probably has been the best fighter on the UFC roster with a better gas tank. And it seems like his gas tank always fails him, but luckily this is only a 3-round fight. So I think Mark Munoz is a tough fight because he has nasty power. He has a very durable chin. But I favor Aldo in that fight. I want to see Nate at 185 for fun. I have no desire to see Nate at 185. I like him at 170 against other guys who are kind of floating around there. I'm pretty sure the UFC wants to do Edwards versus Masvidal for the promotion's sake, but Gilbert deserves a title shot pretty soon in my eyes. I agree with you. The Edwards versus Masvidal fight should have happened forever ago now. Let's see. Ortega, I feel, will lose because beating Max gave to him showed so much. Yeah, I don't know, but he's been off for so long. And Figgy did wonders for that division. Yeah, I think Figgy could have been a huge star, and I think Brandon Moreno could be a huge star. Cody's going to get his booty handed to him in a flyweight. Better keep monkey at monkey ass, I guess, at 135. I think his probably best bet is to move to 125, honestly. If you can choose someone in the UFC to fight Nate in a fight to the death and beat him, who are you picking? Tony Ferguson. Easy. I'm not saying he would easily do it, but I picked Tony Ferguson. Munoz, I feel, will win in the first round. That's a tough one. Aldo looks so good early. He hurt Max early. He was beating up Petr Yan in the first. Cody G is probably gone. I don't think it's done, in my opinion. I don't think so. I think he can still make a return. He's done at bantamweight, though. I mean, that bantamweight division is just so nasty. The chin issues, it's hard to say. Nothing to be sorry for. People are sleeping on Edgar. I don't think they are. I think Edgar's old. The bantamweight division's stacked. Nate fought at 185 one time. I don't remember that. If Oliveira successfully defends against Poirier, who's next in line? Daryush? Depends what fights happen between now and then. If we get Gaichi versus Chandler and Gaichi wins, I say Gaichi. If we get Islam versus Daryush and Islam wins, maybe Islam. I think Islam should probably have to fight 2 more times, but I'm just saying from the UFC's perspective. Yeah, Nate would want to fight Dustin at 185. I think that would be a cool fight at some stage. Make it at 170 if that's what they want to do. Ferguson laughing. Yeah, I think Ferguson's just so tough. Does Rob Font versus Cory make sense to make next? No, I don't think so. I think Rob Font versus TJ Dillashaw makes sense. But realistically, who knows? Who knows? I think either one of those guys are very close to a title shot. Who do you got, AJ or Pitbull? Thank you for joining me, Mellow Speaks. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think Pitbull's going to win. I just think he's more technical on the feet. I think AJ McKee gets too sloppy on the feet. He's the way he fights is very like wild and crazy. And I think Pitbull just has so much experience. He has so much power. I think he TKOs him in the second round. I'm picking Pitbull, and I think that's a great fight for Bellator. Daryush is a major sleeper in my judgment. Your thoughts, Joey? Ferguson versus Diaz at welterweight. If that gets announced, it's going to be 10 rounds at least. That would be a fun one. That would be a fun one, guys. 10 rounds, Dustin Poirier. I'm trying to exit out of some of my tabs I got going on here. But I would like that. Hell, why not? Why not give us 10 rounds? If Dustin loses to Oliveira, he should fight Nate or defend his number one. Then I think if Dustin loses, he can go fight Nate or he can go fight Conor again. Rob Font is underrated. Rob Font is underrated as hell. Yeah, I remember it was a short notice fight. I'm talking Nate Diaz fighting at 185. I don't ever remember that. You got to look up who that was against. There was rumors of a rematch of TJ and Cory because of how close it was. Yeah, I doubt that happens. UFC is going to want TJ Dillashaw in a fight. He's the biggest name in the bantamweight division. And they're going to need another contender soon enough. So we'll see. I wouldn't mind that, though. I wouldn't mind that at all. That'd be a great one, I think. Would be a very, very good one to run back. I enjoyed the first fight. I think Cory should have got the decision, though. Rob Font, TJ Dillashaw would be a damn good fight. I think Dillashaw wins, though. I think it would be a damn good fight. I'd love to see that fight. Rob Font versus TJ Dillashaw would be amazing. TJ Dillashaw is getting up there in age, though. And Rob Font has looked very, very good, but I don't even know who I'd pick in that fight. I probably slightly lean Dillashaw, but it's hard. Do you feel Daryush could win a title? My bid sleeper. I think it's possible, but it's tough. His skill set, is he's very well-rounded, but he's not really, crazy elite at one specific thing. So he's going to have a tough time with some of these guys. I think he's going to have a tough time with Charles Oliveira. I think Charles Oliveira is a nightmare matchup for Daryush. TJ will be next in line for a title shot after Sterling versus Yan because that's the UFC. Agreed 100%. By the way, guys, do me a favor. If you have not already liked the stream, please like the stream for me. And if you want to help support the channel, you guys can send super chats to me now. My channel is officially monetized. Some of you guys already have in the previous live chats, and I appreciate you guys so much. But bare minimum, just submit questions in the chat and make sure to like the stream. That helps support the channel no matter what. The super chat is just an extra thing you can do to really help the channel. But no matter what, I appreciate all you guys joining me live. So let me get back to these questions. Rob Font, I feel, might win a title. I think it's very, very possible. Rob Font is a very good bantamweight fighter. And I think that, he's one fight away from a title shot. And if TJ wasn't lingering out there, or let's say TJ tests positive again, Rob Font's next in line. If Nick beats Lawler, what's next for Nick? Okay. You guys are going to want to kill me for this one. Kill me. This is not what I want at all. I do not want this, but this is what I think the UFC would do. If Nick Diaz beats Robbie Lawler in impressive fashion, I think the UFC gives him a welterweight title shot if he wants it. I know. I'm just as disgusted as you. I want to throw up in my mouth right now. I think that's what happens. I just think the UFC is going to use Nick Diaz for a cash grab. We know what would happen to him against Kamaru Usman and or Colby Covington. But that's unfortunately what will happen. Getting a title shot over Robbie Lawler, I'm not happy about it. Do you think AJ Pitbull is the biggest matchup so far this year? For Bellator, for sure, but not in MMA. for Bellator without a doubt. I think it's the biggest fight Bellator has probably ever put on. Bar maybe the trilogy fight between Alvarez and Chandler. They're both old. Joey Dillashaw is 35 and 34, only one age year difference. Okay. I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize Font was as old. But I was just saying the UFC wants to kind of use TJ while they can. Daryush has such a strong mindset. Yeah. But I don't know. Let me look. I'll tell you who I think Daryush could beat. So I think Daryush has nasty trouble with Charles Oliveira because I think he's going to want to strike with him. And I think Charles Oliveira has the striking advantage. I know he could take him down, but how much damage is he going to be able to get off while Charles Oliveira is just throwing up submissions? As far as Daryush versus Poirier, I don't think he beats Poirier. I think Poirier would outstrike him, and I think Poirier has enough defensive wrestling to stuff the takedowns. But that one's a little bit closer. Daryush versus Gaichi, I think Daryush has a better chance to beat Gaichi than those other two, but I just don't think he beats Gaichi either. Daryush versus Michael Chandler. Again, I don't favor Daryush to beat Michael Chandler. Daryush versus Islam, I think he has a chance to beat Islam, and obviously he already beat Tony Ferguson. So I think Daryush is one of those guys. I'm not saying I think 100% he loses, but it's hard. It's hard. Bold statement, Pitbull beats Volk and maybe Max. I don't think so. I don't think he beats either Volk or Max, but I think he's competitive in the UFC featherweight division. I'd like to see him, but who knows if that's going to ever happen. He's the face of Bellator, really. Yep, that sounds like the UFC. A decision win versus Lawler. I think they probably still do it. Am I the only one person who wants to see MVP in the UFC? I think MVP has talked about it multiple times, that he wants to eventually be in the UFC. My picks, 125, Brandon Moreno, 135, Henry Cejudo, 145, Max Holloway, 155, Dustin, or Daryush, 170, not sure, 185, RW. Who's RW? Robert Whitaker, 225, John Jones. Okay. MVP versus Izzy would be good, but yeah, MVP fights at 170 though, so that's a little bit different. If MVP beats Douglas Lima, he is more than a can crusher. Agreed 100%. Agreed 100%. I'm looking forward to that fight. Daryush has put himself in a scary spot now on killers from now on. Exactly, agreed. I could see Islam Makhachev being future light heavyweight champ. I definitely think you could say that, but he hasn't proven it. There's not enough evidence for me to say that yet. You can say that about anyone. Okay, they could be future champion, but he hasn't fought the upper echelon of the lightweight division, so it's hard for me to say. MVP versus George would be good. Agreed. Or Jorge. I said George. Some people call him George Masvidal, but I think AJ as a fighter is better than MVP. How do you feel about that? AJ as a fighter is better than MVP. I'll say AJ, but it's hard. It's hard to say. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to say. Because AJ hasn't fought the greatest competition either. He's fought decent competition. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trashing his competition. And MVP has looked amazing, but he's fought terrible competition. So I wouldn't mind seeing that matchup, but I don't think that'll ever happen. MVP can go up, Joe. Yeah, but his natural weight class is 170. He's already kind of skinny for 170. I feel like a good fight for Masvidal would be a rematch against Thompson. Thoughts? I don't really want to see that. I don't really want to see that. To be honest, I think Thompson beats him pretty handily, just like he did the first time. Colby has a nice boxing, but pillow hands. Exactly. Imagine if Colby Covington had, Anthony Rumble Johnson power. He'd be the scariest fighter in the UFC. Am I the only one seeing that TJ is nowhere near the TJ Epo of the old? I don't think he will ever be champion. I agree with you that his performance wasn't all that great. I think he got way too much praise for his performance. But I don't think he's ever going to be champion just because look who he's got to fight. But I'm not 100% willing to say, okay, he looked crazy different. But his cardio was decent. But he definitely just didn't look, like the straight-up Killashall we used to see, for sure. But that could be 2-year layoff. That could be the quality of fighter he's fighting. We'll find out. We'll find out in his next fight, for sure. But I get what you're saying, and I do agree with you, to a certain extent. Let's see. Best leg kicks in MMA. Probably Edson Barboza or Justin Gaethje. I like Uriah Hall for sure. Plus 175. I bet 15K on Hall. Did you really, Adam? Did you really bet 15K on Hall? That's crazy. Uh, if you bet 15K on Hall, you better come in with another super chat on the channel, my friend. Come in with another super chat on the channel. I got to get a new microphone, my friend. I got to get a new microphone. And I hope you're right, and I think you are right. I picked Uriah Hall as well. Gilbert Burns called out Jorge. Who takes that, Joey? Gilbert Burns, without a doubt. I favor Gilbert Burns heavily. He would beat Jorge Masvidal badly. Do you think we'll ever see Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko 3? We better, or I am going to throw an absolute fit if we don't see that fight eventually. Who do you think Islam gets matched up with? I'm hoping for RDA. RDA UFC 267 in October. I think that's the fight to make. Aldo has the best leg kicks. Yeah, but he did have great leg kicks, but he doesn't use them as much as he should. He used them in the Petr Yan fight, but I mean, he could be an equal to Edson Barboza, honestly. Just put them both tied for number one. Have you ever thought of training MMA? Not really. It's just not. I don't even really have the time for it, to be honest now. Man, out here betting 15K, I'm afraid of losing my Reddit unicorns. True, Aldo's kicks were nuts. Sure. Adam says, when he wins, I will hook your channel up, my friend. Thank you. Sky Aldo has such crazy kicks. Yeah, Aldo used to be kicked. Remember what he did to Uriah Faber? He brutalized Uriah Faber's legs. I just wish he would have used his kicks more. There's always been speculation of why he has, why he hasn't. But he has. I think Jose Aldo with cardio is one of, if not the greatest UFC fighter ever. His skill set is so amazing. I can't wait to see that Pedro Munoz fight. I think that is a great fight. I think it's just shows how deep the bantamweight division is. I mean, in my opinion, Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz could be a headliner of like a fight night card. So keep the questions coming, guys. Fill the chat with as many questions as possible. Literally, I don't even want to be able to catch up with the questions. That's how many questions I want to see in the chat. So start thinking of them right now. Do you think Chimaev versus Usman is Usman's kryptonite? Seems to be a superstar wrestler and can match his striking power. I think it's possible, but I'm not ready to declare that yet because he hasn't fought any really good competition. So I don't know how great his wrestling or striking is when he's fighting guys like Gerald Meerschaert, who's a decent fighter, but he hasn't fought crazy good fighters yet. Douglas Lima actually finishes with leg kicks. I know Douglas Lima's last performance was terrible, by the way. He got wrestled. I think I did a live fight companion. By the way, guys, I think I'm going to do a live watch along. I'm going to watch UFC and Bellator tomorrow if you guys want to join me live. I see a lot of NBA players follow MMA. I seen LeBron at Dustin versus Conor 3. I think a lot of celebrities follow Conor fights. Joey versus James Vick. Who wins? I don't know. Sure, I win. I give him an up kick like Nico Price. My picks have been strong in the UFC this year. My picks have been very, very good as well. So, I'm happy for you. Do you think there's any sort of chance Conor may be going to 145 again, or do you think there's zero chance? Zero chance that Conor goes to 145, I think. I just don't think he wants to make that weight cut. Especially when he can fight Nate Diaz, he can fight Dustin, he can fight anyone. There's plenty of fights for him out there, even if he's losing. Conor went for a Hail Mary. Jose beats Conor if that KO didn't happen. I always thought about, I don't know if you guys remember, they both swung at the same time. Jose Aldo landed a pretty good, I think it was a left, hold on, it was Conor's left. I think Aldo landed a left hand as well, and it actually cut Conor's eyebrow. I don't know if you guys remember that. Conor had an eyebrow cut. And I always imagine a parallel universe where Aldo ate Conor's shot and Aldo KO'd Conor with his left hand. That'd be an alternate universe. I always wanted to see that rematch. I always wanted to see Aldo versus Conor too, but we never got it. Islam to 170 if he wins the title. Sure, why not? Who has the best blast double in UFC history? My vote is Chad Mendes. Probably GSP. I mean, he was shooting through guys. I mean, he was taking guys down in the middle. I'd probably say GSP. I love the fact Conor's opponents never got rematches against him, but as soon as someone beats him, he gets instant rematch, exception Khabib. Yeah, and the only reason he didn't get the Khabib rematch is because Khabib didn't want to give it to him. But he gets a rematch against anyone he wants. Who was the dude that beat Anthony Smith in the main event about 10 months ago? I forgot his name, but was an underdog, and I collected a ton. I don't remember. It was a Glover Teixeira? I don't remember who he fought. Do you see Islam being champ soon? I think it's possible, but I'm not ready to commit to that because he hasn't fought anyone yet. I love picking fighters that are underdogs with such value. Yep. I know it didn't pan out right, but I think Burns was an underdog. And I thought Gilbert Burns, picking him by KO in the first or second round, I thought was a good bet. The 145-pound division is very different now from when McGregor fought. There's a whole different beast now. I believe he gets beaten there now at this point. Yeah, I don't like his chances at 145 either. To be honest, even if he did go down there, Volkanovsky, that's a tough fight for anyone. With all these influencers doing boxing bouts, would you want to see some influencer in the MMA cage? Nope, I have no desire. I'm not a big fan of these like freak show fights. They don't really interest me at all. So I don't really pay attention to them, and I really have no interest. I get that some people do have interest, but for me, it's just not what I'm into. Conor is a 145er. He will not be able to repeat his success anywhere else. Yeah, he was knocking guys dead. He was knocking guys dead at 145. He has not shown that death touch anywhere else. Do you think people are sleeping on Oliveira? Most people are picking Dustin. I think Oliveira is a bad matchup for me. Yeah, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Oliveira. I don't think I am, but Charles, just because Dustin beat up Conor, I'm not high on Conor at all. So I'm high on Dustin as a fighter in general, but those Conor wins don't get me all that excited. Bisping versus GSP was one of my favorite fights for sure. Yep. I was just sad that GSP kind of got the title and skedaddled, even though I knew he was going to do that. I see Jan reclaiming his title without a doubt. That would be a crazy upset if he didn't. Yep, people are sleeping on Charles. Yep, you said that earlier, actually. To be honest, Islam doesn't deserve to be in the top 5, in my opinion. Yeah, he hasn't fought anyone yet. I agree with you 100%. I know why they did it, but it's just one of those things where it is what it is. We'll find out soon enough. They can't, they got to give him some tough matchups soon enough. If we stick together on this page, we can make a ton of money for this channel. We need to form a pool and give our picks each week. I don't know how to do that, but maybe that's something we got to look to in the future. But I wish I would have bet money on all my picks for this year. My main event predictions I think I'm 19-4 or 19-5 right now with predictions this year, which are great. Let's see. Who is the most overrated fighter on the UFC roster, and why is it Sean O'Malley? Who is the most overrated? It's probably Sean. You're probably right why it's Sean O'Malley. But let me see if I can find anyone else. I'll tell you an old one. It's not this case anymore, but Johnny Walker. But probably Sean O'Malley right now. He's not fought anyone, and people are acting like he's the next champion. Thoughts on Aljamain's excuses that the octagon is too slippery? I think Aljamain Sterling has just... Everyone hates him at this point. Thoughts on Aljamain... Okay, I already made that. I bet Conor fights Dustin P for a 4th time. It wouldn't surprise me. Good morning. What's going on, Mohammed? Appreciate you joining the chat. Oliveira's going to out-wrestle and submit Dustin in my eyes. I think he could outstrike him too, but Dustin is super tough. I don't think Conor is all that powerful. It's just his timing. He hits guys when they don't see it coming. Agreed. I think that's a massive factor, and his his just accuracy is just next level. Joey, are your picks underdog? I haven't really paid attention to that too much. I'm trying to think. I remember 2019, I was one of the very few people. I don't know what the odds were for it. I was one of the very few people picking Kamaru Usman to beat Tyron Woodley. I know that sounds crazy now, but I was one of the very few picking that. We're going to make a ton on O'Malley losing, for sure. I see Dustin being in the same position as Holloway. Beats everyone in the division except for the champ. I could very well see that. You remember when people were talking Johnny Walker versus John Jones? That didn't age well. I know. I was high on Johnny Walker, but by no means, I didn't see any evidence yet. I would have been, if I had a channel then, I would have said, he looks promising, but, we don't have a lot of evidence of him, beating top level fighters at this point in time. So it's hard to gauge. I was actually there live when Corey Anderson knocked him out cold, and it was brutal. Okay, Sean O'Malley is a weed salesman. If you look the part, he will be. Okay, name one fighter you think O'Malley could beat at this point. All right, let me go look. I'm going to go tell you one fighter in the rankings that I think he could beat. Let me take a look, see. So I think he loses to Aljamain Sterling. I think he loses to Peter Yan. I think he loses to TJ Dillashaw. I think he loses to Corey Sandhagen. I think he loses to Rob Font. I think he loses to Jose Aldo. I think he probably loses to Cody Garbrandt. But at this point, Cody Garbrandt will be his most winnable chance. But I think he probably loses. I think he loses to Marlon Moraes. I think he loses. No, I think he could beat Frankie Edgar. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think he loses to Pedro Munoz. And I think he probably loses to Dominic Cruz as well. So his best bet would be Frankie Edgar, in my opinion. But if I have to name one fighter he can beat in the top 15, maybe Cody's the man. But maybe Frankie. Chris Montino was a zombie against him, man. I had huge respect for him after that fight. I agree 100%. The way he was just eating his punches. And he came to fight. The whole entire fight, he was going for a finish, even though it didn't age very well. I don't understand why people are so mad at Aljamain Sterling when Peter Yan was the one who did something stupid in the octagon. Yan knew what he did was illegal. I agree with you, and I was 100% behind you when it happened, and I still am Yan stupid for throwing that knee. But I think it's the way he's acted since. For me, what was really distasteful is he was trying to fight Henry Cejudo next instead of Peter Yan, and it was just one of those things where I think a lot of people, he's walking around, acting like he's champion and holding the belt up for photo shoots, and it just rubbed people the wrong way. But I think the main thing was him trying to fight Henry Cejudo instead of Peter Yan. But it is Yan's fault 100%. He shouldn't have done it. He should know the rules. By the way, guys, don't forget to like the stream. It helps the channel grow. Please go like the stream. And if you guys got any friends that love MMA, make sure you tell them to go subscribe to my channel. How about a fight between Sandhagen? Joe, you were right. Maybe Frankie, only Frankie. Thank you, my friend. How about a fight between Sandhagen and O'Malley so we can watch two guys retreat the entire fight? I think Sandhagen beats the brakes off of Sean O'Malley. I respect Chris Martino after that fight. Me too. Frankie's old. Yep. I think Frankie could even fight at 125. I've been hitting the gym lately. Just signed a deal to fight O'Malley. Wish me luck. I think you have a decent chance. I bet on you. Especially if you're a heavy underdog. Yeah, Frankie Edgar is 43 years old. He needs to retire. Is he really? Are you serious? He's 39. Come on, man. Stop making up ages. I had to go look that up because I didn't think that could be true. Don't be making up ages, man. But I think Frankie Edgar is Sean O'Malley's best chance to get a win over a ranked opponent. But I think he has trouble with a lot of those guys. What else do you guys want to talk about? Let's see. We talked about UFC 265. We talked about Nunes being canceled. We talked about Bellator 263. We pretty much covered everything I had on my title. I like to make a title in advance and then try to go from there. Frankie beats O'Malley via WrestleFuck. I see Frankie versus Jair. I think Frankie probably wins. But I think that's his. I'm talking about O'Malley's best chance. Sean Strickland by second round TKO. We will see. I think Sean Strickland he just has no head movement. He moves forward, and this is how he looks. I have more head movement in my live streams than Sean Strickland has in his fights. So I think Uriah Hall wins, and I think Uriah Hall wins by, I'll say second round TKO. But I also have a prediction video up on my channel for Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. So make sure you guys go check that out. Now that my channel's monetized, when you guys watch my videos, it helps support the channel. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't seen it yet. How does Hall win this week? I didn't even see that question yet, but I think he wins second round TKO. UFC 268 dream card. Okay, I'm going to break this down for you. I'll give you a couple fights. We already got Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2. I want Robert Whittaker versus Israel Adesanya 2. I want Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. And I'll also give you, let's see, what else do we want? And give me Alexander Rakic versus Yuri Prochazka. Even though I hate to see one of them get killed off. But how would that be for UFC 268? What's up? What's up, Will? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining the live chat. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video. What's up, brother? It's going to be a good weekend with UFC and Bellator. Agreed. I think it's going to be a fun weekend. I just wish the UFC card was a little more solid. No, why are we giving Sean an easy way to the rankings? Give him Umar Nurmagomedov. I just want to see him fight someone ranked. If I had to pick his next fight, I have a video up on my channel. I don't remember what I said on that. But I'd like to see him against Merab or Dominic Cruz. Do you think Colby will try and mix in his wrestling this time against the CEO? Okay, no, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to. Hall, first or second round, knockout cold. Maybe we could see it. Uriah Hall is just so inconsistent. So inconsistent. The UFC would never in a million years make Cory Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley. That guy would murder O'Malley, send him to an early grave, yeah. Sean admitted himself that he will probably get rocked. Yeah, Sean says a lot of crazy stuff, so who knows? He'll say he was trolling. He can't move his head for the love of MMA. Exactly. Joey is super sharp with his picks. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it, Adam. I look forward to, if Uriah Hall wins, I look forward to seeing that hefty super chat. I think if anyone ever gives me $100 super chat, I might cry right here on the stream. So let me see something. I think that would be absolutely insane. Hold on, guys. Let me see if this phone rings again. Hold on. 1 second. Hello? Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, that's the address they had listed, so I don't know why I did that. Okay. Okay, thank you, my friend. All right, bye. You guys aren't going to believe this, and this is not MMA related, but I had to get my car towed because the gas door stopped working. So I just had it at my house, and I have a subscription, basically get free towing. So I had it towed. To my dealership, and they were calling me to let me know they dropped it off. All right, let me see these questions. Sorry about that, guys. I wanted to make sure it got delivered properly. Uriah Hall didn't even throw a punch in the last fight. Is that true? That's very true. Chris Weidman broke his leg. The UFC would never in a million years make Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. They don't want to see Ferguson make good money. I want to see that fight. I think they make it. Nate Diaz will not fight Tony. Wish he would. I would love to see that. That girl who has the 125-pound belt now, will somebody beat her? If so, who will? No. I don't think so. I don't think anybody will beat her unless she goes and fights. Amanda Nunes, and I still think she can beat Amanda Nunes. Cruz will beat him 100%. Maybe. Sean knows he's in trouble. Weidman needs a second leg surgery after his fight against Hall. I hope that dude recovers quick. Yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad. That's a devastating injury. He may never return the same again. The UFC is giving Sean the Conor treatment, keeping him away from any threats. Yeah, but they can only protect him for so long. That can only last so long. Sean knows. Okay, I already read that. The UFC is giving Sean. Okay, I already read that. Do you think Rob Font could be champ? No, I do not think Rob Font could be champ. And I'm high on Rob Font, but I think his wrestling defense, his wrestling deficiency, his takedown defense, I think Peter Yan or Aljamain Sterling is able to take him down with ease. Kevin Lee or Sean, I'll probably go Kevin Lee. Please tell me what O'Malley does great. He has decent striking. It's very decent striking. Kevin Lee has like a 30-pound on Sean. Rob Font is great. Maybe O'Malley rematch versus Chito. I think he would beat him this fight. That could happen. If I was Chito Vera, I'd never give him the rematch though. Nice. Hope your car gets fixed soon. Yeah, I just had it towed because it's under warranty, so they got to fix that type of stuff for free anyway. So rather than drive it out there, I just said, you know what? It's like almost 25 minutes away. I said, you know what? Have them tow it there and they can fix it. Talk with Alex. Okay, that's nothing else. Oh, I thought you meant O'Malley. Who is in the top 15 at lightweight could give Cowboy his last fight in your eyes? I don't want to see Cowboy ever fight again. I think Cowboy loses to everyone in the top 15, honestly. But if I had to pick someone that he could beat, Diego Fajeda. But that's his most winnable fight. I keep losing my spot in the conversation now. Okay, here we go. Sean Soriano versus Joaquin Buckley would be good. I don't even, to be honest, I know Joaquin Buckley got that spectacular KO, but I'm not really high on him at all. What's going on, Jacob Houston? Appreciate you joining the chat. Imagine Chito beats O'Malley again. Will he still consider himself undefeated for that? Without a doubt. Donald Cerrone should retire. Agreed. Does anybody have any other solid picks on the UFC card? I think Diego would beat Cowboy. Yes. Diego Sanchez? Nah, I don't think Diego Sanchez would beat Cowboy. Yes. Yes, no more. Yes, no more Cowboy, please. What kind of car do you drive? Well, technically, that's really my fiance's car. I drive a truck, an F-150, but she drives a Volvo XC90. Is the one that got towed in. The dude Buckley KO'd is more promising. Yeah, it's hard to say, man. There's so many guys. You just need to see them fight known guys before you can really get a gauge. It's so hard to kind of determine. You know, I feel like we talk about that all the time. This guy looks promising. That guy looks promising. But it all depends, you know. It all depends who they're fighting and the different, you know, the different levels of this. Donald wants to retire. He asked if he got one last fight at 155, and Dennis said he would give it to him. I hope if he does fight, he goes out with a win. I agree. Cowboy's been fun for the sport. Is Taekwondo the most boring Olympic sport? Table tennis is more exciting. I don't watch Olympics, so I don't know, but I love table tennis, so I would say I'll agree with you. Guys, throw some true or false questions in the chat, please. What's up with Fabio? He seemed to disappear off the earth, but people pop up eventually. Yeah, I don't know what happened with him. I'm talking about Brazilian Diego. Oh, okay, sorry. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I think Diego Fajeda would probably beat him as well, but who knows? I saw the shout out from James Lynch. Have you? Yes, I did see it. Are you talking about it in the chat, or did he shout out somewhere else? I think you're talking about the chat, right? Yeah, so I think it's the chat. But yeah, I saw it. I responded to him early when it was live. But thanks for pointing it out to me. That's awesome. I know James Lynch came on here and was like, hey, just wanted to stop in. That's pretty cool. I like James Lynch a lot. He does a great job. If you guys don't subscribe to him, you should check him out. I think it's just James Lynch on YouTube. Is his YouTube channel name. So, Joey, what other fighter do you feel should not be in the UFC like O'Malley? I mean, I think O'Malley should be in the UFC. I just don't think he's as good as people make it out to be. But probably there's quite a few guys who probably don't belong. I like okay, hold on. I want to see Blachowicz versus Prohaska at some stage for the 205-pound strap. I think if, let's say, Glover Teixeira falls out, I think Prohaska steps in. I like Chaos Williams. He's a beast. I love Chaos Williams. McGregor's a fake champ since he never defended his belt. True. True or false? Do you see Izzy being champ for a long time? I'll say true. Cowboy versus Cowboy. I think they fought before and Cowboy beat him, but I might be wrong. Jake or Tyrone? I'll go Tyrone. What's up, Anthony Veloci? I appreciate you joining. One of the big supporters of the channel. Chaos Williams versus Tony Ferguson would be a good fight at 170. I don't want Tony Ferguson to fight Chaos Williams at all. John or Francis? We talked about this earlier. I'll go John Jones. But I could change my mind when the time comes. You excited for Pitbull versus McKee? Very, very excited. I broke it down a little bit on this chat because I wanted to make a video, but I never got a chance to. I think that McKee is a great prospect. He's a guy, who's came up. He looks really good. He's able to get some finishes. He gets unorthodox submissions. He got that weird neck crank in one of his recent fights. But I just think he's too wild. He's too reckless in his striking. And I think Pitbull just has, so much experience. And I think Pitbull beats him. Second round TKO. Keep the true or false questions coming, guys. I really do appreciate them. Sam Alvey needs the boot. Yeah, it's hard to gauge what's UFC level anymore because of who they do bring in. They're kind of like a feeder league to themselves. So as long as I'm not seeing them on main cards, it's not that big of a deal. Leon Edwards backpedaled when sitting out the rest of the year and called out Masvidal. Who wins between Masvidal and Leon? I favor Leon, but I know a lot of people think Leon beats the brakes off of him. I think it's a more competitive fight than that. I think Masvidal can win that fight, but I favor Leon. Cowboy versus Cowboy, January 2016. Thank you for the information, my friend. Yeah, believe Beneil is back up for Charles versus Dustin. Okay. He deserves it. Who is the fighter? Who fights the kid Chris that O'Malley just beat? Probably someone relatively unknown. I don't really know who they should match him up with next. Leon versus Masvidal, I would say Leon. True or false, Nate Diaz gets a W before he's done. For sure, I'll say true. Why not, Joey? You must think Chaos Williams would KO Tony Ferguson or just box him up like Justin did. I don't want to see Tony Ferguson get destroyed again. He's fought nothing but killers. I think Tony Ferguson can win that fight too. But I don't like the size disadvantage. Do you think Islam Makhachev deserves to be... Do you think Islam Makhachev deserves to be in the... I think you're saying the top 5. Oh, number 5 in the rankings. I was missing that. My brain was having an aneurysm at NR. No, I do not think he deserves to be in the rankings. I think that I get why they did it, but he definitely doesn't deserve number 5. But I'm not going to cry about it because I don't really believe in the rankings anyway. We know who's good and who's not, and he'll have to earn that ranking soon enough anyway. I feel like Nate fights Conor before hanging up the gloves. That will be his last win. I think you could be right. I think Nate might fight for as long as he can get big paydays. How many pay-per-views do you think Diaz versus Diaz would do? That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Nate Diaz versus Nick Diaz. How many pay-per-views would that do? I want to say it does over 1 million, but I'm not sure. I'll say 1 million buys. That's a fun question, though. I like that question. Will MMA Joey have 5K subscribers in 1 year? True or false? I'm going to say false. I think MMA Joey's going to have 10,000 subscribers in 1 year. I'm sorry if I'm late. I'm very late, so sorry if you already talked about this, but are you excited for any of the fights tomorrow? I'm not really interested on any of the main card, at least. Didn't look at the prelims yet. I think tomorrow's card is terrible. I think the main event is mildly intriguing, but let's say something came up and I had something better to do, I wouldn't watch it. But I think also you should, if you can, watch Bellator 263. The main event in Bellator is a very good fight. Pitbull versus AJ McKee should be a very great fight. I'm not excited at all. And I know a lot of MMA channels who they stride on making MMA content. They come on and they say, this card is great. I can't wait. There's some undercover matchups. I will never sit here and look in this camera and lie to you and say I'm excited for a fight card or a fight that I am not excited for. I know channels do that. I know it's just the nature of the game, but I'm not going to lie and say it's great. Islam needs 2 or 3 more fights before a title shot, in my opinion. I think 2. True or false, will Conor die soon from having a big mouth to the wrong person? I'll say false. I hope not. I'm getting impatient for the UFC announce Tony Ferguson next fight. It'll happen soon enough, probably. True or false, Nate also won the second fight against Conor. True, and I actually rewatched that recently. Will Valentina beat Sean O'Malley? True. What's going on, Perez? Thanks for joining the chat. Man, 10K, I hope to hit 1,000. It's hard, man. All I can say from what I've read and what I've seen, just don't give up, man. Just keep going. As long as you have time. It's always a fun hobby. You know, I didn't care. If I still had 200 subscribers on here, I wouldn't care. I just somehow got lucky and I got 1,000 subscribers. I almost have 1,100 now. It's making its way to 1,100. You guys have been supporting me and helping watching my videos and stuff. And but just don't give up. You know, it could take a while, it could take a year, it could take 2 years to get to 1,000. You never know. I really expected when I started my channel. I thought a year to 2 years I could get 1,000 subscribers. So it happened in less than 4 months. So I don't know if I just got lucky or what, but I appreciate you guys, every single one of you. I appreciate every single person who tunes into these live chats. You know, you guys told me on some of the fight watch-alongs that I've done that, hey, we would like to do a live chat, you know, ask you random questions and do that type of stuff. And I started doing it, and it's been fun, and you guys seem to enjoy it, and I have fun doing this. It's just a hobby. If I can make a little bit, I told you guys, if I make enough money to pay for my pay-per-view right now, you know, if that's all I ever make on YouTube, just enough money to once a month to pay for YouTube, for my, not for YouTube, for a UFC pay-per-view. Let me mute my computer. I don't know why it's making noises. I consider that successful. So right now, I think I made, I don't know what it is. I'm getting very, very close to paying for UFC 265 with super chat donations. Within like $10, because YouTube takes a cut of some of it, so I don't know exactly how much it is right now. But I'm within like $10 of paying for UFC 265 purely off YouTube revenue because of you guys donating in the super chat. So, but who knows? It always takes patience, my friend. So I'm hoping for 10K subscribers by next year. Okay. Now I'm falling behind by talking about that. Lewis versus Gane. Who are you going to go with for the interim belt? Probably Gane. I just think he's so technical, but you never know. Lewis has such nasty power. Have you checked out Daryus Studios yet? No, I will. I will, my friend. I will. I think you told me that before. Let me copy that right now. I'm going to look right now, my friend. I'm going to check it out. I have it opened in another tab now. I'm calling it soon. Joey's going to make 100K very soon. If I get 100K subscribers, that's going to be unreal. True or false, Ferguson doesn't fight till 2022 to heal up from all his injuries and reset. I say false. I think he fights before the end of this year. Should the UFC interim belt be silver instead of gold? Basically the same thing as the gold belt, but silver. Yeah, I think so. Like the BMF belt. I've only been a purely UFC fan so far, but I may actually watch Bellator live for the first time tomorrow. I'll tell you this, Anthony, from a guy who watches a lot of Bellator, the production value is not as good. I think the commentators aren't as seasoned. I think the lighting usually isn't as good. I think there's a lot of things, but just enjoy the main event at least. I think it should be a good main event. What do you think Stipe leaves the UFC for another promotion? I don't think the UFC will let that happen for a while. True or false, Ferguson versus McGregor will happen before they both retire? I hope so. That's the fight I want Conor to return to. I want Tony Ferguson to get a win in the meantime over a salvageable opponent, and I want McGregor to return and fight Tony Ferguson. True or false, Diaz versus McGregor trilogy happens before their retirement? True. Even if they're both on 6-fight losing streaks, I think we see that fight. That fight's always there. True or false, Usman beats Colby, then retires? I say false. I think he beats Colby, but he does not retire. True or false, is Adam Z going to continue to pick underdog winners at a high percentage? I'll say true, and I hope you do. Now, I see Usman fighting at least another 3 to 5 years. Yeah, I think, why not? He's making money. He's beating these guys with relative ease. I think he sticks around for a little bit. My cousin made her MMA channel last year and already got 800K subs. What is this channel, my friend? You keep saying that. I want to know the channel. I want to see Derrick Lewis become champion, then do a shoey in the middle of the octagon. Okay. I think the shoey's nasty. So let's see. Let's help Joey make money to build his channel. Appreciate anybody who does that, but it's not required. Imagine if Ferguson bounced back and go on a 5-6 fight winning streak. That'd be awesome. Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor will never happen. I hope you're wrong. What are the options on Bellator's Dylan Dennis? Ugh. I don't know. I'm not high on Dylan Dennis at all. He talks too much and doesn't fight anyone. Should Colby wrestle against Usman? No, I don't think he's going to have any success. Open a betting account. I don't see. I haven't been too much on betting, to be honest, because it kind of almost. I know a lot of people look at it as fairly fun, but I very rarely bet on fights. It's just because then you lose money. It kind of ruins the night a little bit, even if it's not that much. I'm kind of like ugh, and it's stuff I can be using for buying a new microphone, for example. True or false? Fiziev and Sarukian will be in the top 10 by this time next year. I'll say true. Can we? I love Fiziev as a prospect. I can see Usman becoming the best welterweight of all times in my eyes. He's well on his way, or he's well on his way of all time. He is well on his way in my eyes. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I think so. I think he's number 2 right now. He's beaten the best competition there is. Look at the guy. He took the strap from Woodley, and then he went on to fight. Who did he fight right after Woodley? Was that Colby? I can't remember now. Or was it Masvidal? Who was his first title defense? But either way, he's beaten Masvidal twice. Then he's beaten. So he beat Colby next. Then he beat Masvidal. Then he beat Gilbert Burns and Masvidal again. So he's done a lot of work. Not your money. I see what you're saying. Maybe we'll start something like that. If and when Zabit returns to featherweight, who would you pair him up with? I really want to see the Yair Rodriguez fight. What's going on, Indigo? Thank you for joining me. John Coke Jones says Colby, Dustin versus Oliveira. Who do you have? I favor Oliveira. I just think Oliveira is so good. Joey, do you invest? Yes, I do invest. I'm stoked for Pitbull versus McKee this weekend. Yes, we talked about it many a times already. I'm sorry, my friend. I favor Pitbull, second round TKO. First title defense was Colby, then Masvidal, then Burns, then Masvidal again. Thank you. I was looking it up. I couldn't remember. I thought it was that. But look at that. That's damn good. Then he beats Colby again. Then maybe he beats Burns again. I don't know how you could deny him. That's some great competition. Realistically, that's some very, very good welterweight competition. And I don't know how you don't think that you don't think that he's one of the best welterweights. Do you think Holloway versus Rodriguez gets rebooked? Probably not. To be honest, as disappointing as that sounds, if Ortega wins, Holloway's getting the next title shot. Joey, crypto. Now I invest in individual stocks and some index funds too. Who do you got? Colby, Usman too. I got Usman. I think Usman is just a guy that I think just Usman is just he was already better back when they fought originally, and I think that he's widened the gap of the skill gap. So it's just one of those things where I think Usman's going to come out. He's going to outstrike Colby again and eventually finish him. I think he's going to do it more easier this time. I think Usman is definitely going to beat Colby, but it'll be well fought. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun fight regardless. Usman has beating former lightweights, though, and he's a huge welterweight. Yeah, true, but still, Burns is a tough test. I favor Burns to beat Colby Covington. How far away are you from getting your new mic? Very, very far. The mic itself, I think, is $400, but the entire setup is like $800. And there's absolute necessary stuff you got to buy with the mic. So it's far, but I'm probably going to buy it even long before I get enough money for it from the donations, because I just like to have the best stuff and I really want to get it. So probably another month or so, even if I make, maybe if I get $500 from YouTube, when I get $500, I'll just go ahead and buy everything I need. Because that'll be more than half of the total. But I appreciate you, Pitties and STI, man. You donated the other night. I really appreciate it. I'm getting that new mic soon. I promise you. I promise you that. So hopefully do more of these live streams, do more videos. I will be getting some YouTube revenue finally. And I'm going to buy that microphone. I'm thinking about changing up my setup pretty soon. But let's see. But thanks for asking, man. I appreciate it. Does AJ get beat up in front of his father, or does Pitbull get beat up in front of his wife and kids? That was hilarious, I got to admit. But I say AJ gets beat up in front of his father. Yair should have taken the fight with Giga. I think that would have been a good fight for him as well. Have you seen the welterweight fighter Sean Brady? If so, what are your thoughts? I think he's very, very promising. He is very, very promising. I think if he gets by Kevin Lee, he's proven himself, and I think that'll be a very, very, very tough test for him. If Kevin Lee comes out, the guy that we know he is. And I think he can be a very skilled welterweight in the future, and I think he could compete for a belt. But it's very early to say, so it's hard to say. Yeah, he's been fighting way more. I feel like Usman beats Burns, Colby. The next question is who can beat him? I don't see anyone right now in the current welterweights that can beat him. Is Yair Rodriguez going to fight soon? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Joey Blue Call, your favorite meal or snack? I love eating Chick-fil-A, my friend. I think after this live chat, I'm going to go get some Chick-fil-A. How many Blue Call? Do you have an Instagram account? You know what's funny? People have asked me that multiple times. I have to start an Instagram account for this. It's just, I do have a Twitter, though, and I will start an Instagram account soon. Guys, if you want to go follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description. It says go follow me on Twitter. What are the dolls and pictures in the background? Is one of them Booker T? No, my friend. It is one day I got to do a video of just like a kind of like a tour of everything I have here. But I have Daniel Cormier. Why do I have his pencil here? I got Daniel Cormier autographed bobblehead. I got Nick Diaz autographed bobblehead. Jorge Masvidal autographed bobblehead. Demetrius Johnson autographed bobblehead. And then these are all the boxes that they came in. So then that's Khabib Nurmagomedov, a Funko Pop. One day I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a video on my channel showing you guys all the stuff I got in the background. Then I have Dan Henderson, the leaping punch on Michael Bisping. I have that autographed. Behind that, you really can't see it. Then that big frame way in the back is an Anderson Silva autograph. Then behind that is a Khabib Nurmagomedov, like a piece of memorabilia from UFC 229. It's like a piece of the octagon, but it's with the picture of Khabib and Conor. Over here, I have a Petr Yan versus Jose Aldo. And it's a Yan autograph. Yan is autographed. I have a picture of Khabib, an autographed picture of Khabib from the Conor fight autographed. Excuse me. I also have a Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald. Do you remember that stare down they had in the 4th round? It's that picture and then both of them autographed above their current things. So I think it's I got a lot of stuff for sure. The guy that I bought the bobbleheads from, he makes them. It's MMAbobblehead.com, and he's coming out with a Dustin Poirier bobblehead. So I'm gonna get that soon too. But I'm gonna do a tour soon. But I got it with the blurry background because I like the way it looks on camera. So I know it's kind of weird because the background's blurry, but it makes the picture quality look better. But maybe I'll do a video without that. But I'll also do a tour soon. We will buy you the microphone. Hey, man, keep the super chats coming. I see there's one right here I'm about to read in a second. Keep the super chats coming, and I'll get. Hey, guys, if I can get like $400 in donations, I'll buy that microphone right now while we're on the chat. But is Sean Brady from Philly? I'm not sure. Tell me why Ariel Helwani is hated by Dana White and why Dana hates him too. Tell me why Ariel Helwani is hated by Dana and why Dana hates him too. That's the same question. But Ariel Helwani was a guy who basically worked for the UFC. The UFC fed him news, and then he would break it. And one time he got news that the UFC didn't want him to break, and he broke it anyway. So that now they hate him forever. So I'm not saying that's right or wrong. He's a guy that's supposed to be breaking news. So you can't blame him for doing it, but that's why Dana hates him. Fantasy fight, GSP versus Nurmagomedov. Who would win? GSP. I think he can stuff the takedown and outstrike him. True or false, Khabib beats Burns at welterweight. True or false? I say false. By the way, let me get to this because I've been meaning to get to it. Anthony Veloci with the super chat for the mic donation. You are the man. You're always on here sending super chats. I know I always do this, but man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means a lot. I will have that mic soon, and I hope that it's the best, crispest audio quality. You know, it's the same mic that everybody has. Anybody who has a big channel on YouTube has. So thank you so much for the donation. You will be seeing that soon, you know. I have to all this stuff I already have right here for this whole setup, which I'll put in the tour, is was expensive enough, and I just got it for the channel anyway. So the fact that I'm having donations now is just encouraging me. I will buy more and more stuff, and eventually I want to set it up. I want in the background, I want the Khabib Nurmagomedov autograph. So, true or false? Okay, I already answered. Hey, what's up, Big Anthony? Okay, thank you, Anthony, again. Sorry, guys, I'm catching up now. Yeah, Sean is from Philly. Sweet collection, bro. Impressive. Definitely want to see the tour. Thank you, man. Sell it all for a new mic. Nah, man, I like to collect this stuff. I also have a John Jones and a Daniel Cormier Funko Pop as well as the BJ Penn Funko Pop and Anderson Silva Funko Pop. I got a bunch of cool MMA stuff. DC is the man for sure. I know I've shown this before, but the guy who makes the bobbleheads, look at these quality boxes he makes. Look at that box he made for DC. Look at that. That's like a solid. See, that's the guy that makes them. Hold on, it's out of focus now. It's MMA bobblehead. But look at that box. The box is a collectible itself. Look at that, and that's high quality. And just look how nice that looks. Nice and glossy. It's a beautiful box. The guy does great work. Okay, my man got a huge sickening collection. Thank you, Tiramisu. I grew up the same neighborhood as Sean. He was always this tough. That's crazy. Sell the bobbleheads. I will buy a bunch. You can buy it from MMA Bobblehead. Ariel spilled the beans on Brock Lesnar's return after UFC work to hype him up. I think that's the big reason Dana hates him. You summed it up perfectly. DC is definitely one of the GOATs. Agreed. Make a Tonight Show type of setup. Yeah, I want a sweet setup. You have no idea. If I can get like, I don't know. I'm telling you right now. Let's say hypothetically, okay? And I know that you guys are going to think I'm full of shit. I know this is unrealistic, but let's say somehow let's say there was 200 people in here, and between everyone donated me $10,000 somehow. I know that's crazy. I would literally take all $10,000 and make the sickest setup that there could ever be. I'd spend every single dime buying cool stuff to make this setup. I buy a new mic. I buy another camera. I get you 3 camera angles for every video. That's how I just love doing this channel. So I don't even care. I just put any money that I'm getting from it. I made an actual bank account specifically for any YouTube money, and that money is all going right back into the channel. So let's see what we got. The ESPN shows are way worse since Arrow left. I never really watched them anyway. Bro, you should put all that in a safe. Isn't it worth a lot? I got a security system. It'll be all right. I saw this comment that was hilarious in my eyes. Brock Lesnar today looks like Ponytail McGregor. Poirier won TJ EPO enhancers. I haven't seen Brock Lesnar. That was hilarious. Brock Lesnar today looks like Ponytail McGregor. Does he even have hair anymore? Brock Lesnar's a weird dude. He's definitely using something. Table and guest space. Can you sell me a bobblehead? How much each? I can give you the website, my friend. I think they're... I want to buy from you. Why do you want to buy from me? The guy sells them online. But I think they're $100 to $200. I think they're $100 to $200. It varies on price. You can also buy them non-autographed. They're all autographed ones. Why don't you pick one bobblehead to feature it on one of your live chats and have it next to you? There's a video actually where I have. Let me just pull it up. Let me just do what I did in the chat and the thing. Let me see if that. Oh, right there. That's Jorge Masvidal. And that's Nick Diaz. And I had them like that because the video. Let me see. The video was about them two guys fighting. I know nobody probably noticed it, but I did when I did a video. I put them like that. Can you sell me a bobblehead? How much? Okay, I read that. Yeah, how much are the bobbleheads? It varies on prices, but they're anywhere from $100 to $200. I think the most expensive one I bought was like $160. But they're autographed, but you can also buy them not autographed in there. I think they're closer to like $80 to $100. Let's see. Do you think Ryan Clark should be replaced on DC's new show? Din Thomas would be a great replacement. RC is just awful. I haven't watched it, but probably. I can imagine it's awful. Yeah, Brock has an undercut ponytail. I'm dying, guys. Keep these questions coming, guys. Search up Brock Lesnar 2021. You'll see. I'll look it up. I want you to pay this way your channel. I want to pay you more. Who's your 3 favorite fighters? I love Anderson Silva, Robbie Lawler. My favorite fighter to watch is probably John Jones. I know that sounds crazy, but I love watching John Jones. But also just guys that I really like are just that Robbie Lawler, Anderson Silva, Habib. Some of my favorite. They're my real favorite. Would you rather? Okay, I got a super chat. I got a super chat from Tiramisu. Appreciate you so much for the super chat, man. It really means a lot to me. Any donation always helps the channel. Would you, and this is a very, very important question. I'm so glad you asked this question. Would you rather drown in spaghetti or oatmeal? I think I'll go with spaghetti. Maybe I can find my way out of there. I'll go with spaghetti. All right, man. Have a good rest of the stream. About to make a video on everything tomorrow. Good luck, my friend. Good luck, my friend. Appreciate you joining us, Alex. Tiramisu with the real questions. Did you see the short piece UFC did on Islam Makhachev on Dagestan? It was badass. No, I did not. What channel is on that? Because I'll go check it out. I can't wait for Lawler Diaz too. I'm excited for it. I wouldn't say I can't wait, but I'm excited for it. Who are your top 3 fighters that are champs now? Are you talking about who I like or who I think is the best? Answer me that, and I'll give you your answer. Or is it top 3 champions that I like? I can give you that easy. So let me know in the chat. And guys, keep putting questions in the chat. Otherwise, I got to go. Okay, so everything's good. It's on the UFC channel. Great production value. I think I saw that and meant to watch it, but I never got around to watching it. And by the way, guys, other than the donations, you guys can support the channel by just liking the video. So please do that. Who do you like that are all champs? Okay, so my favorite champion, let me see. Who would be my favorite champion? Who do I like the most? He's not technically a champion, but Petr Yan. I'm a real big fan of Petr Yan. Then probably Charles Oliveira. It's crazy because I used to be a really huge fan of fighters, but now I just love seeing. There's just certain guys I love seeing fight. There's guys I dislike, but other than that, I kind of like everyone. So Petr Yan. Also, I really do like Charles Oliveira. I like Jan Blachowicz. So there you go. I'll say Charles Oliveira is number 1 just because I've been a big believer in him forever and he has a great story. Number 2, I'll say Petr Yan. And number 3, I will say Jan Blachowicz. And number 4, Kamaru Usman, if you don't want to count Petr Yan, just because of the sustained dominance. Who's the most entertaining champion right now? I would say Izzy. The most entertaining champion right now. You guys are asking some good questions. Good questions. I will go with... You guys are going to call me crazy because a lot of people talk about he's not exciting. I'll say Kamaru Usman. The fight with Colby Covington was amazing. The second fight with Jorge Masvidal was super entertaining. The fight with Burns was super entertaining. So, but I understand your argument for Izzy. But Izzy's fight versus Vettori wasn't that great. His fight with Blachowicz was good, but it's nothing that it's super memorable. I'll go with Usman. I know people aren't going to believe me, but Diaz versus Masvidal too. I think Diaz has a chance. I think so, but it all depends. It all depends what Diaz shows up, and it's a tough fight for him. What type of camera do you have now? I think I have the Sony A6400. I got it so I could shoot in 4K. You got who? Let me know in the chat. Does anybody actually watch my 4K videos in 4K? I upload some 4K videos. I'll be doing my Derrick Lewis versus Ciryl Gane video in 4K, so you guys can watch that in 4K. I don't always do in 4K because it takes forever to upload the video, just because of the way YouTube runs it. But I do some videos in 4K, so I'm curious if there's a lot of people out there watching the 4K content. Max, Brandon, and Rob Whitaker, but they're not champions, my friend. Oh, you're talking about if they were former champions. Do you feel the next wave of lightweight contenders are more well-rounded fighters? Sarukian, Gamrot, Moises, all great grapplers, even Fiziev and Sambo credentials. I think there's definitely some great ones, and you're even forgetting about, Gregor Gillespie. He's not super well-rounded, but he's another great up-and-coming lightweight, so I kind of, I forgot about the well-rounded part there for a second. But I think a lot of them are well-rounded, but I think so many of the top guys are well-rounded right now, too. I mean, Charles Oliveira is as well-rounded as you can get. Dustin Poirier is as well-rounded as you get. Justin Gaethje's a little bit one-dimensional. Beneil Daryush is well-rounded. Chandler's well-rounded. Islam Makhachev is kind of one-dimensional, but he's working on it. I want to see Nick Diaz versus Masvidal. I think that'd be a fun fight. Will Max get his belt back, yes or no? I'll say no. Izzy is funny and well-calculated. Agreed. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, Johnny. Yeah, true. Usman is definitely a favorite of mine. Adam talking about Misha. Izzy is way too cocky. He doesn't bother me too much. Realistically, if Volkanovsky wins against Ortega, I don't see Holloway getting the belt back, unfortunately. Maybe if he moved to lightweight, he could capture the strap. I could see Max Holloway getting another title shot, but I don't know if he can beat Volkanovsky. It's going to be tough. We want nice champs, not dudes who put on an act. Yeah, I think Brandon Moreno is a super nice guy. But if Holloway moves to lightweight, he needs to make sure Dustin doesn't get in his way. Yeah, because he already lost to Dustin. Tatiana Suarez injured her knee, is going to have surgery. She can't catch a break. I know that sucks. She's been out for so long. True or false, Izzy stays champ till end of 2022. Who beats him? I'll say true because I don't honestly see anyone in the top 15 who beats him other than Robert Whittaker's the best possible option to beat Izzy right now. Figgy versus Garbrandt at 135 would be a great fight. Plus, they have history already. I'd love that fight. Did Max beat Alex their last fight? I thought Alex barely won. I thought he won, but it was a close fight. Robert beats him for sure. We'll see, my friend. We will see. I picked Robert in the first fight, and he let me down. All right, guys. I thank you guys so much for joining the live stream. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow night, too. We'll watch the UFC fights. We'll watch some of the Bellator fights. Thank you guys so much for the donations. Everybody who donated, I appreciate you. You guys, that means a lot. It means a lot, really. So you guys can also do me a favor, like the stream, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. It's been a lot of fun. I'm so happy that we have people in here. We can talk to each other without being crazy. We can disagree without saying nasty stuff to each other. And that's what I want for my channel in the future, and it looks like it's going to happen that way. Are you surprised Mirkwan Americani fizzled out? He seems to have a lot of potential. Not really. A lot of guys get hyped up, and then that ends up happening. So it sucks, but it is what it is. I'm not super surprised. Loved it here. Thank you. We're just getting started. You'll see me tomorrow night. I'll be on tomorrow night for the fights. I'm not sure what time. I will schedule it on my channel. Everybody have a great rest of their night. I appreciate you all joining me. We'll be doing many more of these live streams to come. I appreciate every single one of you. And don't forget to like the stream, please. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night.